Sandy Kruger, your host, Dog Training Q&A live. So I'll give everyone a minute to jump on here. We'll see if we can answer some good questions today. How we all feeling out there? Here we go. Hey everyone, what's up? Ashley's here. Hello from Virginia. All right, y'all. Couple little things here. Before we get going on the live, ask me anything dog training related, okay? Don't be weird. Ask me any dog question on here. Some cool stuff on YouTube this week. Some cool stuff on Patreon this week. My new puppy, Clark, Boykin Spaniel. Posted some new training stuff of him. Got a new video of Big Fred, both on Patreon, one on YouTube. So we're back. My little puppy Clark, somebody asked me, he's like 10 weeks old. They asked, how many times a day do you train him? 3. 3 times a day for my puppy. That's just me. But whether it's going to be a working dog, sport dog, whether it's just going to be a pet dog, maybe somewhere in between 8, 10 weeks old, even up to like 12 weeks old, right about where Clark is right now. 3 sessions a day, morning, afternoon, evening. Could you do more? Yes, you could do more than that. If you do more, is it automatically going to be a bad thing? No, not necessarily. But honestly, when it comes to building an obedience foundation for your puppy, it don't take long. I mean, I'm putting in 15 to 20 minutes a day. Now, making the videos, I put in a little more time towards that. But if I wasn't documenting any of this, man, it'd be easier. But I'd just bust him out 3 times a day. A little 5-minute session in the morning, 5-minute afternoon, 5-minute evening. Roughly. Okay, would one of those sessions maybe be 6, 7, 8 minutes? Maybe. Might I cut one even a little bit shorter? Maybe. But it don't take that much time. So if you hear people, I don't have time to train my puppy, maybe that's true. Maybe they are a very, very busy individual who literally cannot carve out 15 more minutes in a day. I'm sure there's people like that, but most of the time, if you don't have time for the training, you probably just don't know exactly what to do and when. I'm telling you, you're going to see in the videos to come with Clark, if your dog's got some food drive, if your dog's got some engagement, which he has, it really doesn't take that long. Now, I'll give you this. All the other stuff with a puppy is time consuming. Okay, just the overall day-to-day activities and supervising and letting out, etc. Having a puppy is pretty time consuming, but there's a distinction with the training. If you have time to get a new puppy, you definitely have time to incorporate some training. It doesn't take that long. Okay, thank you, Ashley. She's coming in hot. What do we got here? Andy, I have a small fluffy dog here now. Crazy barking. 2 trainers tried before me and nothing changed. Once I saw it wasn't fear or prey, just a need for, sorry, the questions are moving. Clarify and control. Clear structure, fixed it fast. Much easier than a fearful bark. Can you talk about how the same behavior like barking has 2 different causes and what trainers miss when they treat all dogs the same? Great question, Ashley. Yeah, I actually just saw a little clip going around on Facebook. A trainer maybe critiquing another trainer's approach to fixing some barking, but it's definitely super common. Somebody said in that video I'm referencing, they go, hey, it's a dog, dogs bark. True. That's true. Let's start from the beginning. Yeah, dogs bark. Okay, great. Reading your dog, knowing your dog. Why are they barking? That's pretty easy. How do they feel when they're barking? That's a little tougher because most people go, oh, he's just super excited when he's barking. That's very vague. It's very general. Is the dog experiencing fear, stress, anxiety? Or is the dog just, someone's at the door, boop, 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 come on in, who are you, boop, boop, boop. Very different mindsets, so they require a very different approach. As a trainer, I'd like the second dog. I'd like the happy-go-lucky, it's just a habit I do, boop, boop, boop. That's super simple to stop. But if it's a dog who is in fear, who is stressed, that's a lot harder. A dog trainer, hey, if I could pick one, I'll take that one. It's a little more straightforward. I always stay away from describing a dog as excited because it could mean almost anything. If I run up to somebody aggressively and I get in their face and I start yelling at them and I even shove them, for some reason I'm trying to pick a street fight. You probably won't see that happen, but let's say that I do. That person could tell that story and say, this guy came up to me, he was super excited. Maybe it's a little more old school, but it can describe happy, mad. It's all, he's really excited or a ton of energy. Let's read the dog a little closer. Let's pinpoint exactly how they're feeling and why they're feeling that way. Let's get inside the head of the dog. That's going to give you a game plan of how you're going to stop that nuisance barking. One other thing, probably the next YouTube video I'll make, it'll either come out this week or next week, channeling your dog's bark. I recently had a board and train come in, big, strong German Shepherd, 2 years old, reactive. Well, after working with him for 10 seconds, I go, wow, this is a straight up working dog. This dog could be in the back of a police car, no joke. 10 out of 10 on the drive scale. Now, I told the owner, look, it's a dangerous game to play, teaching a reactive dog how to bark, but we like dangerous games here. We know what we're doing. I taught that dog how to bark on command. Never been taught to do that before. He had some training coming in. Never been taught to bark on command. I taught him to bark on command, which was a little dicey because he's been known to come up at the handler a little bit. So it's on Patreon. We had to be careful. I taught this dog how to bark. I made a game out of it, and I played it every single day with him. Not even for a long time. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. One day. I gave him that outlet. He immediately thrived. And guess what happens? He already has obedience training. That reactivity was like so easy to get rid of after that. The dog was just generally frustrated in day-to-day life. And I believe there were several reasons, but he didn't have an outlet for a bark. He didn't have an outlet for a bite. As soon as we gave that to him, things changed. When a dog is barking, whether they're happy or stressed, a lot of times, I'm not a scientist, they're releasing dopamine. This can become a self-soothing behavior. They're out, they're anxious, they're stressed. They alleviate that by barking. Ipso facto, they start to feel good. Not the most scientific definition that you'll hear, but that's not what I'm here for. It becomes self-reinforcing. You can look this up. Barking makes a dog feel good. If we can give them a game to bark, a nice outlet for that, we're going to have a lot easier time telling them to knock it off here and there, because now we can say to the dog, hey, no, we're not doing that right now. Hour later, hey, now it's time to do that thing. Unload, baby, let's go. Barking is what I want here for the majority of dogs. When you have lots of client dogs, how do you make sure your dogs still get what they need? Do you have casual play sessions or just let them decompress or run more on busy days? So what Ashley's talking about here, the life of a dog trainer. You take on your client dogs, and if you're a good dog trainer, that matters to you a lot. Any client dog I have here, they're number one on my priority list. I only have a certain amount of time to train them, and I have a lot to do. And that client's paying me good money and putting a lot of trust in me to work with that dog as I should. So client dogs always take top priority with me. With that being said, Ashley, you'll hear a lot of trainers recommend, hey, you wake up in the morning, you know you have a full day of working with board and trains and clients. The first thing you need to do is work your dog. And you're thinking, but Andy, you just said the client dog should take priority. The client dog does take priority. It's not so much of a literal thing. They always go first. But when I wake up today. Okay, I do something with my dog. I'm going to do this. But the day is revolved around my board and train Duke. What am I going to do with Duke today? Okay, first, I'm going to get Fred. I'm going to go do something with him. I'm going to be fresh. I haven't worked a dog yet. I'm ready to go. So I give a good session to my dog. He's done. Okay, good. Got my dog out of the way. He got what he needs for this morning. Now it's Duke time. Now I'm going to structure my day around Duke. What does he need in the morning, the afternoon, the evening? And that's top priority. But that doesn't mean my dog just falls to the wayside. So a lot of trainers will say, work your dog first. Because if you wake up, you work this board and train, you work that board and train, you go on a field trip, you talk to a client, you do a lesson, you clean up an explosion in a crate, et cetera, et cetera. By the end of the day, you're going to be like, dude, I don't even feel like working my dog anymore. Classic dog trainer stuff. Make sure your clients' dogs take priority over your dog. That's what you're signing up for. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't give your dog quality time every day. That helps me a lot. Yep. My Mal, got that? My Mal likes to lick everything. Oh, I hate that. He defaults to it a lot. Solid training sessions twice a day, one walk, 1 or 2 play sessions, spend a lot of time with him every day. I wonder how old he is. Oh, well, this says it's been the last 18 months since he was 12 weeks. It's a newer behavior. Should it worry me? I don't want to say, wow, that should really worry you. You should definitely take a look at that, though. I believe a majority of the time, especially a Malinois, wound up tight, a little neurotic, it's a sign of stress. A dog that's being really licky is a lot of the times a sign of stress. Not all the time. My little puppy, he'll come out, he'll lick ya. He ain't stressed. But a lot of the times it is, especially the way you're describing it here, it's a little bit of a stress response. It's a little bit of a nail biting, pacing, grabbing your phone, kind of an anxious cope kind of a behavior. You obviously aren't going to go correct a dog for licking. That just makes no sense. But maybe it is what it is. Maybe it'll go away a little bit. Maybe it's whatever. I don't know exactly. But try to pinpoint, is there anything I'm doing that's stressing my dog out? Or maybe this is just how the dog is. They're a little neurotic. I did everything perfect. But is there something that you're doing with the dog that stresses the dog out? And just to take that a little bit further, it's not always as obvious as you think it's going to be. So you think, well, no, I'm not stressing my dog out. The training is clear. I'm not being heavy-handed with the dog. I'm not confusing the dog. I'm not really doing anything to stress it out. Dig a little bit deeper, because you don't have to be doing anything horribly wrong to cause stress in your dog. I'll reference, excuse me, the board and train that I just had, Irwin. He's all over the Patreon. He was a bad mofo, guys. I really like that dog. But I'll reference him again. This dog was trained prior to coming here. This dog could heel prior to coming here, when the owner originally bought him at about 9, 10 months old. And the owner would take the dog on walks. Who doesn't love a walk? A walk with your buddy. Win-win. He'd take the dog for a lot of walks, and fast forward months and months and months later, dog's loosey-goosey and heel, reacting at everything. The act of taking this dog for a walk, the way the owner was taking him for a walk, was building stress in the dog, and it was manifesting itself with the dog's behavior. The owner didn't do anything wrong. He had his equipment on. He was giving commands. He was using the equipment, I would say, pretty appropriately, and it was causing the dog stress. So I probably get into that a little more on the Patreon, but the point is, we changed the dog's lifestyle a little bit. We changed the training sessions that we did with him. We built new sessions that were more catered for this dog specifically. And my goal was to, sure, going for a walk isn't going to be this dog's favorite thing to do, okay? He wants to bite. He wants to work. He wants to bark. He wants to work. But I said, he'll do you a solid and he'll do the walk for you. He's trained. But it's an example of how just a simple thing that isn't wrong on paper was actually causing the dog stress. So if I see all that licking, I'm going, something's stressing the dog. Is it pure genetics? Let's find out, because I want to make some changes here and see if I just do things differently, not right or wrong, but differently, how that's going to affect the dog. Okay, Ashley says, for the back tie, collar or harness, why do you choose one over the other? That's a great question. So if you guys haven't watched a bunch of my videos, if you're going, what the heck is a back tie? It's one of my favorite training tools to use with almost any dog. Okay, maybe not a typical pet dog, but even that, my back tie, it's just how it sounds. You have a leash that's connected to a fence post, a tree. It ain't going nowhere. And that leash is attached to either a big, thick, flat collar on the dog, agitation collar, or a harness on the dog. And the back tie allows you to do so many things you couldn't do if the dog wasn't trained on the back tie. We can get into that more if there's any questions about that. But Ashley's asking, she's seen dogs back tied on a collar and on a harness. She's going, which one's better? Maybe which one do I like better? Who wants a classic dog trainer answer? Depends on the dog. Here's what I mean, Ashley. Generally speaking, your agitation collar for bite work, tug work, targeting work, it's going to give you a little bit more control over where the dog's head is. I don't think I have to explain that. So that would be kind of a pro of the collar. Okay, your harness. Maybe you have a dog that isn't that board and train I was talking about, who's like a 10 out of 10. The harness does distribute the weight from that pressure of them pulling, distributes it nicely on their chest, doesn't put as much strain on their neck. So like a meteor, so when a meteor hits Earth, so for a medium drive to low drive dog, a harness might be a little bit better because it's less like, I hit a collar, oh, I didn't really like that. So generally speaking, you could pick out some things that are both of them, but kind of depends on the dog. German Shepherd I was talking about, Irwin, putting him on that agitation collar just gave him a little more of a spark. It made him a little more bang from what I saw. I like the collar for this dog. Another thing to think about there, how old is the dog? Is the dog trained on leash pressure? Is the dog going to be training on leash pressure? If I go out and I buy a new Malinois puppy that I'm going to be training for sport, I probably won't do any back tie with a collar. It'll all be harness, because the only pressure I want the dog to ever feel around their neck is when I introduce negative reinforcement. So if you get them, you slap them on a collar and they light up on that back tie and it is money, great, but that could affect your leash pressure training when it comes to teaching the dog how to yield to the leash, because the back tie kind of does the opposite. In Irwin's case, I've already done a bunch of leash pressure stuff with him. He already had commands. I could use my leash to direct him and he could yield to it. He could brace against it. Good understanding of the leash. Throwing him on the collar then isn't really going to cause any problems for me if I know what I'm doing. Hope that helps. Bonjour from France. What's up? Okay. This question is not in English, and I don't see an option to translate it. So, sorry about that. Hey, what's up? One thing I wanted to bring up real quick. My recent YouTube video. Check it out. It's up, free. It's called Reward Your Dog Like a Pro. I'm telling you what, guys. Puppies, dogs, breeds, generally speaking, if you reward your dog like a pro, your need for corrections is going to be very small. Of course, there's other factors, genetics, lifestyle, that you guys get what I'm saying. I have found, this is my 17th year training dogs, I've found with clients or competitors, they're there with the corrections, okay, good, okay. They're there with the rewards, okay, great. If they change the way they rewarded their dog in multiple different areas, those 10 corrections they needed throughout their 20-minute training session would probably go down to a couple, if maybe none at all. I'm telling you. So in this video, I show you 3 ways to reward the dog, and I use the most basic behavior of all time, a sit-stay. I'm talking about this all the time. I'm like, guys, pick one thing and get your dog to be a black belt at that command. Take a stupid sit-stay. Every dog on earth can probably do this in some fashion, whether they're professionally trained or not. Take something basic, but make it bulletproof. Make it stupid proof. Make it awesome. Those are the technical terms for it. I show you 3 ways to reward the dog. First way, good old-fashioned release from the sit-stay, 2 me to the ball. What dog doesn't love that? Phew! That's one of my rewards. But now my second reward, I have to offset that phew, that the dog's developing, another technical term. So my next technique is I'm always rewarding straight behind the dog. I tell him to get it, and from that sit-stay, he turns around and he grabs that ball. So now I have my 2, right? The dog's thinking, okay, I'm either going to fly forward out of the sit or I'm going to fly back on the sit. Which one's it going to be? He just did 5 of each. I'm a smart dog. Which one's it going to be? That's the perfect time for my third technique to come in, room service. I walk up to Fluffy with my toy. They're in a sit. I put it right in front of their face and I let them have it. In my opinion, for a sit-stay, training it with a toy, those are the 3 ways you want to reward the dog, and the recipe for how much of each, the dog tells you. He's literally telling you right here. Sit, stay, yes, he flies and gets the toy. Sit, stay, yes, he flies and gets the toy. Sit, stay, and my dog is in a sit loading up to come to me. That's your dog telling you it's time to do the behind reward technique. If the opposite happens and he's going, he's about to say, that's when I bring him to me. That's when I bring it to him. So the dog's going to tell you. Reading the dog throughout your training session is how you're going to reward like a pro. Anybody can learn those 3 reward techniques, and it makes sense to anybody. But to actually execute those in real time based on what your dog is telling you in that position, that's how you reward like a pro. That's what's going to get you off all of those nagging pops and corrections you have to do with the dog during the training session, I believe. I've been watching for the Nate interview. What was it like to discuss training with Nate? What do you think you said that blew his mind? Yeah, so recently I went on Nate Schomer's podcast. He's a dog trainer. He's on YouTube. He's been pretty successful. I've known of him. I don't think we ever formally met, but I've seen him around for years and years and years. So I did his podcast. It was fun. I think it comes out on Friday. This is Saturday, so 6 days. It's going to come out. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Nate's going to see this. Okay. Let me be honest with you. No, even if he does, it's totally cool. Me and Nate are buddies. I had fun. It was a little tough. It was a little tough for me. Nate loves to talk. I love you, Nate. Nate loves to talk. I really had to kind of battle to get in there a lot of the times. Sorry, Nate. But I had fun with it. I could have maybe won a little bit more. You could have won a little less, but either way, I like Nate. You know what I can't stand, guys? We're live here, right? I mean, only like 7 million people are going to see this. You know what kind of drives me nuts, guys? And hear me out on this. All right, I'm not just an old man here. Hear me out. I can't stand, sorry, Ashley, if you do that. I can't stand dog trainers using AI. I can't stand dog trainers using AI. Let me clarify here. I completely understand. It's the future. It's a useful tool. It can do all this, that, and the other. I get it, and I'm not doubting any of that, but it's like, say you want to interview a dog trainer. And let's say the beginning of that episode, you have a little minute highlight reel of clips from the episode, B-roll of the dog trainer doing dog trainer stuff. Don't use AI for that, right? The B-roll AI thing kind of drives me nuts. You see it with people on social media all the time, but they'll be talking about a dog and then this dog and then that dog and then that dog. And it's a bunch of B-roll that's just from the universe somewhere from AI. And I go, hey, you know what? Do a little extra work and get B-roll from the trainer. I never use B-roll. I never use AI of just this random stuff. It's always straight from me. So I decided to date a little bit on that. Okay, Nate sent me the teaser for the podcast. Said this is what the editors came up with. I go, your editors need to earn their money a little bit more because that was crazy phoned in, and those horrific AI B-roll clips are terrible for me, and I'm going to send you all new B-roll. I just can't really stand it, guy. Okay, I'll get off this after this. My opinion on it. Say you come to me with a question, or I want to make a video or something for you. It's all just going to come from here. For better or worse, it's coming from here. And you're just going to get it from me because you're calling me to get my knowledge. So like, here's my knowledge. Here's how I'm going to lay it out. Maybe it could have been better. If you threw it into AI, they'll organize it a little better for you, word it a little bit better, get your message across a little bit clearer. No, thank you. I'm going to get the message across how I want to get it across, and it's just going to come from me and my experience out in the real world. And if it's not as good as it could be, then it's not as good as it could be, and you could go to another trainer. How do we even get on that? No, I'm just kidding. Interview was fun, though. Thank you, Nate. Interview was fun. Okay, this question's not in English either. Is there a translator we can get in here? Sorry. Do you like the fob e-collar that has the rising stim button? Have been pondering trying it out. Curious your thoughts on the downside of the collar. I am a pro, properly used e-collar, by the way. I'm not a fan of those collars. Good collars can be useful. I don't use them. I don't need it. Yeti 307. Here's what they're talking about. There's different e-collars out there where you can hit a button and hold it, and it starts at a low stimulation, and it steadily rises until you release the button. Just the opposite, you can have a descending e-collar stimulation when you press and hold the button. And there's definitely, in different training systems, there's definitely merit to this, and it can help, and blah, blah, blah. It's too much for me. I don't need the up and the down thing, not the way that I train. I believe those settings are useful if your dog start to finish is in a very specific training system, like a NePoPo system or something like that. But no, I don't feel the need to use it. I just have my little mini educator. I keep it unlocked and I have my level. And as I'm there using it, if I need to increase, my other hand just comes out and turns it up, turns it back down. But with my dog and our training, there's never a time where I'm like, whoa, I need to go up here. Like all that's figured out already. So it's a cool concept, but me personally, it just doesn't really do it for me. I just adopted a Malinois from the shelter a month ago. Every time I take her out for a walk, she's alert and looking for a cat. When she sees one, she wants to bolt. If you can give any advice. Good golly, how many cats are in your neighborhood? I haven't come across that too often. I got some great advice for you. Kind of goes into all the recent videos I've been making too. let's take the dog specifically. It's a Malinois from a shelter, and you've had it for a month. Let's take those three things right there. Okay, a shelter dog, say what you want about them, but one thing I can tell you for sure is that they haven't had good, appropriate, successful introductions to distractions, right? A shelter dog, you probably wouldn't bet your life savings that they've had a beautiful training foundation by a credible professional. So we already know a dog coming from the shelter, they're going to have some baggage, they're going to have some bad habits. It just comes with the territory. It's a Malinois. So anything a normal dog will experience, times it by 10. And that's the Malinois' experience. This is why people say, hey, they don't make good pets, because of how extreme they can be. If you have a typical dog, they have separation anxiety. Okay. You have a Malinois that has separation anxiety, it's probably 10 times worse just because it's a Malinois. Because Malinois. So you're working with the, not good history, and you have that genetic component on top of it, and the cherry on top, you've only had the dog for 1 month, which for me is basically like having the dog for a day. Exaggerating a little bit, but it's like a month. That's nothing. That's nothing. I'm not saying in a month's time you can't bond and do a ton of great stuff, but in the scheme of things, a month of one-on-one time is absolutely nothing. Okay, if you date someone for a month, okay, you're getting to know them. Okay, you can try. It's a month. You don't know them that well. Okay. So you have those three things going for you. How possible is it to stop walks right now? If it's impossible, Andy, I live in an apartment, the dog literally needs to go on a walk anytime it needs to go outside. I understand, that's fine. The environment's going to handicap you a lot there. If it's up to me, I say, this dog ain't going for a walk right now. I know exactly what's going to happen on a walk, what you described, and I don't want to be there right now because shelter Malinois 1 month, I don't want to be there right now. So I'm not there. But what I'm doing is I'm finding places and environments that I can take the dog to, that they can be a dog, that they can be free, they can be on a long leash, they can enjoy the outdoors and be a dog. I want to try to find some places like that, not the typical neighborhood route that you're finding all these cats. But besides that, you need to systematically introduce distractions to your dog. This seems like a silly reference, but day 4, training my new puppy, it's up on YouTube and Patreon, introducing the puppy's first distraction. And I know your dog is past being a puppy and seeing their first distraction, but start here. I have a bag, when you watch the video, I have a bag of treats, I have treats in my hand. I'm teaching my dog to ignore the distraction, something interesting to him, and stay on me. It's very important. I say it in the video. The first distractions you introduce your dog to, you have to have control over. So a sure thing is an inanimate object. You take a bag of the dog's food, you take a bag of treats, they better be food motivated if you're trying to train them. They're going to be very interested in that bag of food. They're going to jump on it, scratch it, try to get in it. You need to bring things into your training environments that get the dog's interest, have value to the dog, but never pay the dog. Really watch that video. I don't want to just regurgitate everything that was in it here, but if your dog isn't an ace around controlled distractions in a controlled environment, outside in the real world will be a disaster. So Hopefully that helps you a little bit, but you got to think about your dog. You got to think about the situations you're putting them in, and you got to go, okay, how does this change? It doesn't change by keep doing it. Hey, correct the dog. No. Reward like a pro, remember? No. Yeah, you could just yank the dog around, maybe stop it. Not a great idea. Teach them the concept of ignoring distractions in your training. And it incrementally builds up and incrementally gets harder every session based on what the dog's showing you. Hope that helps. I've always had German Shepherds. My 4-year-old Malinois came across as nervous aggressive, which is different than any GSD. Very true. He was brought up by a GSD, and GSD Mal hates other dogs. He was socialized, but a pain to walk. Okay, I'm not sure if there's a question in there. Hates other dogs, socialized, but a pain to walk. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. You're going to hate this answer. Bear with me. You're going to hate this answer. The dog's a pain to walk because the dog doesn't have a heel command. Stay with me. Hold on. You're like, no, he does have a heel. A pain to walk. The dog just needs a heel command. And I'm telling you what, on some of my videos here on YouTube, I'm training the heel, blah, blah, blah. And people go, well, what if my dog does this? What if my dog does that? Well, what if this, that? And I just say, well, the dog needs a heel command first. Their behavior on leash, maybe sometimes people just get lucky with their dog, but if you want the picture of like Andy and Freddie walking, a dog would never walk like that in a million years if I didn't train the heel command. You think Freddie's just going to be good on a walk? He's a freak. No way. The dog just needs a heel command. Maybe your dog is genetically dog aggressive. That exists. He was socialized, but what does that really mean? I don't know. Was he socialized properly? Well, what is properly? Well, it's different for every single dog. So the way that your Malinois was socialized could have been beautiful on paper. Just picture perfect, beautiful. We've done every dog just like this, all our Shepherds, and they're all perfect. And we did the same thing with him. Perfect socialization on paper. That doesn't mean it was actually a good fit for that particular dog. So in my socialization videos, and a big thanks to Ashley on this too, because she's provided me with tons of footage of her and a trainer evaluating puppies. So that's in the videos. Thank you, Ashley. We've had some good conversations about that. But, the 3 components of socialization, I talked about it on Nate. How those get applied and when just depends on that dog. So maybe it's genetic, maybe it's not. No matter what the case is, though, the dog just needs good, solid, reliable training. And no matter what you've done with the dog, if you take them on a walk and it's a nightmare, they don't have the training. Maybe you've done a lot of training, but they don't have the training. Just my opinion. Okay, Pitbull, an Indie mix, 12 months old. He's too friendly. Even licks faces of a stranger. It's embarrassing. Help me, please. Sometimes my dog ran my home and don't listen to me. How can I change the behavior? Okay, that's 2 questions. He's really friendly and he licks their faces. Let's take a dog that's overly friendly. To me, it's the exact same as having a dog who's reactive and not friendly. It's the same because if I have a heel command, and my dog is reactive or overly friendly, that's going to pull them out of the heel command. That's going to pull them out of engagement with me and lead them to something they want to be interested in. It's the same thing for the reactive dog. Doesn't really matter the dog's intentions, if you know what I mean there. I hate overly friendly. It's just as big of a problem as a dog being aggressive. The consequences are just different. I hate the overly friendly. Literally, my last answer 2 answers ago, your dog needs a lot of distraction work in a controlled environment, specifically with people. You need to make this dog neutral to people. Back to socialization. 3 components. Interaction. Your dog has that in spades. Familiarization. He can explore environments. Great. Doesn't matter here. Neutralization. That's what your dog doesn't have. Your dog doesn't have the ability to see somebody that they're interested in and then click into neutral. And the reason the dog doesn't have that ability is because, well, one, you didn't really get lucky. Some people just randomly get lucky. But you haven't done incremental and appropriate sessions in a straight training context with your dog with a lot of wins every session. You need to go back to basics. If your dog can't be totally neutral to a person just standing in their training room, ignoring them, how are they going to be neutral anywhere else? Just my thoughts on that. But he won't listen to me. How can I change his behavior? Well, probably by joining the Patreon. That's how you're going to change his behavior. What you need to do with the dog, forget about how old they are, forget about the past, forget about everything. I want you to pretend like you just went and picked up the dog today, and you are now going to start building your training foundation the right way, as if the dog was a puppy. Here's the good news for you. It won't take as long as if you had a real puppy, because you already have, how old was he? I'm just going to assume 12 months old. That's fine. He already has a grown-up brain. He doesn't have a 12-week-old brain. He has a grown-up brain. You're going to take him through a foundation course, if you want to call it that, as if he was a puppy. You'll be able to move through it a little quicker than a puppy because you have the maturity already. That's what you need to do. If you drop that dog off here today, I'd gather all the information I could about him. I'd process that. Okay, that'll shape how I do things. But it's a clean slate now. That's you. This is me. This is what we're doing. And I start from a puppy. If your dog can't accomplish things that a 12-week-old puppy can accomplish, that's a problem. So you need to change that. Here's an example with the overly friendly and like coming when called, like you mentioned. My 12-week-old puppy, 12-week, he's 10 weeks. He's extremely friendly. If he sees a person, he will run up to him and be, hi, 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 hi. You know what my 10-week-old puppy can do though? I can have my food. I can have my clicker. I can have a new person stand right there. And within seconds, just using my food and my training techniques from days 1 through 4 that I posted, I can easily convince that puppy to become neutral around that person. Done deal. Doesn't care about them. 5 minutes. Done. It's in the videos. If your year-old dog can't do that, well, a 10-week-old puppy can do something he can't do. So what do we have to do? We have to make sure first he has the skills of a puppy, then the skills of an adult. You got to change everything though. Lifestyle changes massively. Whatever lifestyle you have with this dog, you're going to now do the opposite. Any Seinfeld fans? Come on. Classic. Remember the episode? I hope you've seen it. If not, this is going to be boring. Remember the episode with George? He's sitting there with Jerry talking about George's like dating life. And it's like, Jerry goes, well, if every instinct you've ever had is wrong, then the opposite must be right. And so now George approaches women and literally just does the exact opposite of what he would normally do. And he's just crushing it. I'm not trying to be mean, but literally everything you've done with the dog up to this point, you probably need to do the opposite of it. Lifestyle needs to change big time. Free time changes huge. Training interactions are completely different. The environments you put the dog in and for how long totally change. Everything changes. That's how you fix it. Talk about a non-helpful answer. No, I think that helped. I hope that helped. Hi, Andy. You're absolutely one of the best trainers out there online. I paid that person to say that. Thank you. Both for the quality of content information you provide. Keep going. Thank you. From Italy. My grandparents, born and raised in Italy. Come on. Montenegro, I got you. I've been there. Love Italy. Adopted a 2-year-old German Shepherd. No training, high drive, puppy behavior, mouthy, excitable, toy and treat, motivated. Where would you start? I feel like a broken record here. My previous answers. That's exactly where I start. I don't care the dog's 2 years old. It's actually a huge benefit that he's had no training. I would much prefer that. You have a blank canvas. Sure, not like an 8-week-old puppy, but it's still a blank canvas. Your dog needs to be able to do everything a puppy could do first. Follow along my Clark series, my new puppy. There's tons of puppy videos on the Patreon too. I think the puppy playlist has a lot of videos on there, more so than other ones. But you start with, I could pull up the videos here, the dog's ability to just eat out of your hand. Said the dog's kind of grabby, kind of high drive, kind of teach the dog how to eat out of your hand. Teach the dog his first reward marker. I like a clicker. So you can eat, you can eat, you can eat. Click before you eat. Click before. Now I got a sound that has some power to it. Now I want to start my lure. My dog can eat out of my hand. He can stay with me. I can click. I can give him food. Now I'm going to lure him over here. I'm going to lure him over here. Click, lure, click, 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 click. Don't worry about sit down. Don't do none of that. Lure, lure, lure. Click, click, click. Now I bring in a distraction. Bag of the dog's food. Set it down. Eat out of my hand. Click. Lure, lure, lure. Rattle the bag. Click. Lure, lure, lure. Great. First distraction introduced. 5 minutes. Got him neutral to it. And so on as you'll see the videos progress. Start building your dog's training foundation. Don't worry about stays. Don't worry about prongs and e-collars. Don't worry about sits. Build a nice foundation with your dog. Those videos will be really helpful to you, I think. You can do it with any dog. Love from India. What's up? Thanks for being here. Andy, my Mal once in a while during play refuses the out. Advice, please stop that crap. Man, I'm going to answer this the best I can, but I have to preface it with, that's all I can go off of. My dog sometimes doesn't out. I kind of have to, but I'm going to try. How old is the dog? How did you train the out? What toy are you playing with? Okay. Negative reinforcement is going to be the key to achieving perfect out every single time. positive reinforcement will be key to getting the perfect out each time. Let's take positive reinforcement first. This is a perfect example of reading your dog. If I have a dog who is sticky or flat out won't out, I'm assuming they know out and they're choosing not to do it for whatever reason. That's what the answer is based off of. How do you reward the good outs? See, this is where people get lost in the sauce. They do a tug session, they out, yes, out, yes, out, yes. Oh man, he's getting sticky. What outs are you rewarding? What I do, I'm playing tug. Somewhere in that session, I go out, and the dog demonstrates a perfect out. Yes, I immediately reward that. They're off the bite for a split second, and then they're back on. Big reward immediately for letting go. Here's the problem. Well, Andy, I already do that. Here's the problem. Out. Perfect out. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Way too late. You're not rewarding the out anymore. You're rewarding your dog waiting there patiently. They're not equating it to this. They're equating it to this. What outs are you marking? Are you marking bad outs? How are you marking good outs? All that stuff matters, because if you're rewarding this dog like a pro, the less negative reinforcement you'll need, the less corrections you will need. So you have to take that into account. Here's another thing. Maybe I want to help a brother out. Maybe I know my dog does struggle with the out, and I want to make them better at that without having to yank on a bunch of crap. Make the outs predictable for the dog. Get the dog to anticipate an out. Pops off early. Trust me, you want that right now. You don't want that forever. You want that right now. Any behavior we teach, heel, sit down, stay, out. We know we're on the right track when the dog starts anticipating the behavior. We pull out our bag of treats, the dog is sitting. Hey, I didn't even have to do anything. You should see the same with your out. Again, it's not the end all be all, but we want to see anticipation, so you need to be more predictable. So I give them a bite. I plant my feet in the ground. 1, 2, 3. Out. Yes. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Out. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Out. Good. You see where I'm going. People get lost in the sauce playing tug all the time. Be predictable to the dog. Have your out be predictable to the dog. How much time is the dog on the bite in between outs? How hard are you fighting with the dog on the toy in between outs? That matters. If you have a sticky dog, the worst thing you can do is tug the crap out of them for a while, then tell them out. No, a dog that's a big biter and very sticky, yes. 1, 2, 3, freeze up, pause. Out. Yes. 1, 2, 3, freeze up. Out. Yeah. Doom, doom, until you go 1, 2, freeze up. And they're starting to let go. Be predictable to the dog. Don't just, yeah, out, boom, boom, boom. And just the opposite for a dog that's outing early. You have a dog that's, okay, lower drive, okay, I put more of a fight. I put more time on the bite. Maybe I make the out a little less predictable. So you can see both sides, but that predictability is what you need, and how exactly you reward the dog is really important. And back to what I originally said, negative reinforcement is going to be the key. That needs to be brought in after you're doing both of those things right. But I'd focus on those two first before you get into the leash, because rewarding like a pro, You do the right stuff. Well, I don't even need that leash pressure anymore. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Hey, Andy, just tuning in. A 3-year-old German Shepherd, similar issue to the Pit Bull. Reactive only wants to play. Will pant heavily knowing we're going out to play fetch or scent work. Daily walks on a popular trail. Sorry, this question's a little slowly starting to tune in. However, still look around at other dogs in passing. Any tips you can give? I do have some tips for that. Look, it's just a dog that is, reactive, but yeah. So a dog that's just kind of like reactive. Okay, he'll tune in a little bit, but he's kind of out looking for stuff. I'm going to tell you exactly what your dog's doing. If you missed the first half of this, real quick, this is exactly what your dog's doing. Your dog is out looking for something to react to. Straight up. That's what your dog's doing. Sure, he'll tune in every once in a while. That's cool. But for the most part, he's looking. He going, what? Boom! Jackpot. There's another dog. There's a cat. What? Release of stress and frustration. Yes. I feel so good when I can release all my stress and frustration. And you know what? That dopamine hit, that barking like this gives me, makes me feel good. And all that frustration and stress I'm venting, after I do all that and get the dopamine, I got my hit. I've had a couple drinks. Okay, I'm better now. Your dog's out looking for it. See it with reactive dogs all the time. It's self-reinforcing. He feels good every time he barks, even if we're like, no, he's stressed, he's on edge. He's feeling good. He's getting the chemicals he wants. So my answer is similar to the other ones. Environment can make or break your training. End goal for any dog is to basically be able to take them anywhere within reason and not have a problem. We're all on the same page. But environment can be the biggest handicap you have as a dog owner and trainer. And you're seeing that with your environment right now. Trust me, there's things training you can do different. That environment ain't helping you at all. If when you're building a dog's training foundation the right way, if you can't control the environment and control the distractions in it, you're rolling the dice. Because all it takes is one time. Random dog runs up to my dog in the park. Something happens. My dog's different for the rest of their life. I'm not saying every dog, but some dogs 1,000% takes one time. I really want to be able to control my environment and control the distractions and get my dog to a pretty high level in that context before I go out and start tackling the real world stuff in a training context. Your mission with this dog should be in my training room, in my house, in my yard, my environment. My dog's a black belt around distractions. There ain't nothing I could produce in a training session that's going to screw my dog's sit up. Because I've showed him everything and I've rewarded him like a pro. I've escalated it to that point very appropriately. There ain't nothing. You have a bond with that dog right away that's stronger than most everyone's bond with their dog that don't do training. You are then going to have this power to switch to an environment, take that relationship into the environment. It's you and the dog. If from day one they're exposed to environments that you don't control, It's going to make things really hard and sometimes impossible. One last example, then we'll go to the next question. Dog reactive dog. You go out for a walk. Here comes Tommy from down the street with his Fluffy. Your dog sees it and lights up. Tommy goes, "Oh, scary doggy." And he scurries down the street with Fluffy, turns the corner, and the dog's gone. The whole thing lasted 10 seconds. Well, it's about the worst repetition you could ever get for a dog. You don't control that distraction. When I introduce dogs as a distraction in my training to my dog, oh, he's going to be around that dog for a while. He's going to be around that dog for a while. We're going to come, we're going to eat out of my hand. We're going to click. We're going to look at the dog. We're going to check back in with me. We're going to click. We're going to lure. We're going to check out and look at the dog. We're going to check back in. We're going to click. We're going to feed. We're going to lure. We're going to do all that. Yeah, stay right there. Hey, take 10 steps back for me. Thank you. Come a touch closer. Okay, yeah, stay there. I want like 3 or 4 minutes right here. Ba, ba, ba. Focus, 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 focus. Don't give a crap. Focus, focus. Bing, bing, bing. Whoop. Thank you. You can put them up. And I go. If I can't control that distraction and I can't control the amount of time that distraction is there, you're kind of screwed. So do your best to kind of change the environments and change what you do with the dog. Okay, let's see what we got here. Love your techniques. Been watching since COVID. My giant schnauzer, 6 months old, responded to your techniques just perfectly. I think my wife is getting me on your Patreon for my birthday. I love to hear that, man. Thank you so much. You're going to love the Patreon. If you like the YouTube at all, you're going to absolutely love the Patreon. Now, there's a lot of videos on there. Sometimes people jump in and they go, "Oh my God, where do I start here?" It's actually pretty basic. You jump onto that Patreon, you go, okay, 6-month-old dog. Maybe I play with him with a tug or a ball. Go to collections, playing tug, the out command, full grip. Let's see what videos are in here. Let me check out this video. Just do that. Check out a video a day. I want to work on my healing. Go to the healing collection. Read through the titles. First healing session with a 6-month-old. Well, that video sounds like it'd be pretty good for me. Boom. You hit that video. So I think you'll really like it. What are you looking for in a French ring prospect? Phenomenal question. French ring is the dog sport I compete in. If anyone's late to the party, involves agility, obedience, and bite work. Bite work being, I mean, come on, that's why everyone watches it. Okay, we don't need to see obedience. So that's really important. What do I look for in a French ring prospect? If I'm looking at an 8-week-old Malinois puppy, and I'm thinking, is this dog going to be good for French ring? Meaning, am I going to be able to compete at the very top level of this dog sport with the puppy? That's the only reason I do it. I'm not here to have fun. We have fun training, but it's not just for fun. If I just wanted to have fun with my dog, I don't need to torture myself competing in French ring, okay? I can just play tug, grab a drink, sit out in the yard, and I'll have just a fun time with my dog. So when I'm looking at a French ring prospect, I have in mind, I want to love the dog. I want the dog to be my buddy. I want the dog to be part of the family. If he can't do the top level of French ring, that's what I'm looking for. So the qualities of a puppy, it might sound basic. I want a dog that just really is carefree. Carefree. I don't mean they don't care about food, they don't care about toys. That's not what I mean. I mean carefree, like I take my puppy and I put him down and hey, there's a new person there they've never seen before. And my puppy goes, Oh, shit. Oh, hey. Hello. Hello. Carefree. You bring them to a new environment within reason. New environment, there's different things, different surfaces, different noises, a lot of puppy just walking around. What's this? Oh my gosh, what's that? Wait a minute, this is soft. I can bite this. What's over here? Carefree. Opposed to a puppy that may show some concern about that. Who's that person? I've never seen them before. Are you okay? That's not carefree. Where am I? Is this safe to walk on? That's not really carefree. They care. You know, they're a little more, not that that's a bad dog, but I want a dog that's just wide open. Confident would be a word to use. Within reason, they're a puppy, okay? Within reason, nothing rattles them. Nothing scares the crap out of them. Nothing throws them off their game. Nothing gets in their head. It's just a silly, happy-go-lucky, carefree puppy. That's what I look for on the personality side of things, if you want to call it that. Just carefree. Hey, I need you to hold my puppy for a minute. Here you go. And then I leave and I'm gone. I disappeared. Who are you? What are we going to do now? Puppy doesn't care. He's carefree. Where did my daddy go? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Daddy? Daddy, where are you? I don't like that. Why do you care? You're a puppy. Why are you so concerned? Why are you experiencing stress? You shouldn't do that. Now, from more of like the working side, it's all about the bite for me. It's all about the bite. Biting, number one, has to be the puppy's favorite thing to do ever. You have to tell them when to stop or else they will just go until they're dead. Just love the bite. But the style of biting, I like to bite big. I like to bite hard. I like to dominate this thing. This toy ain't going nowhere. That's what I'm looking for. Because you can have Malinois that love to bite, but it's a nervy, crappy bite. No, I don't want any of that. I want I don't want insane, like I am killing you, but I want that big full bite just to be the puppy's favorite thing to do. Whether we're at the house, in a brand new environment, there's a brand new person, they're carefree. They don't care. Oh, this guy's gonna let me bite? Oh, bye, daddy. Oh, you're my new friend. That's what I look for. You know, maybe an interesting way to describe it, but hopefully you get the point. I have a Mal who I got so it could bark when people come to my gate. How long should I leave it in the crate and how long should I leave it out? I don't know. I don't know the dog. I'm just kidding. I said ask me anything. You did. Let's see if I can come up with an answer for that because that's hard. But look, I'm with you. I got a Mal so it could bark when people come to my gate. I'm with you, legit. As much as we talk about barking being this nuisance and isn't that one of the best parts of a dog, especially a working breed? Some random comes up to your gate and your dog goes, that ain't right. Boom, 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 boom. And the person at the gate goes, check please. I'll try a different house. Check, please. Awesome. Who wouldn't want that? So I'm with you there. I will tell you this. You do need the right kind of dog for that. But how long should I leave it in the crate? How long should I leave it out of the crate? So this is unrelated to the barking. Your dog's crate time. Whether it's a puppy or an older dog, you say, okay, starting today, we are officially beginning Andy Kruger style training with the dog starting today. And we're going to do it for 6 months. I'm going to follow all of his videos. We're doing it, baby. I'm on board. Well, at the beginning of those 6 months, your dog's going to be in the crate more than they're out of the crate because you're just starting training. When they're out of that crate, you have an objective. Okay. The objective could be potty break. The objective could be they're stretching their legs outside. The objective could be we're working engagement. We're working reward markers. We're working this. We're working that. Environment. There's boom, we got it. Great session. Put the dog away. Hour later, go get the dog back out. This is what we're doing for the next half hour. Bum, 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 bum. Go put the dog away. You're building. The dog's free time is slowly built up over those 6 months, just the same as the training is. Just like a little kid, their rules and lifestyle should evolve with them as they grow. So 8 to 12 weeks old, that's about their crate time. Okay, we're getting more into the 16 weeks old, 18 weeks old. Our training sessions should get longer. Our time out of the crate should get a little bit longer. So then at the end of those 6 months, your dog is out of the crate way more than they're in the crate, but it's been slowly, systematically built up to that point, much like a child, okay? You have a little kid and they're just learning to walk. They can walk, they're on the move. Oh boy, you're going to be watching that little devil at all times. Okay, you're on them. Things are tight. Fast forward a couple years, in dog time, it's a couple months. Fast forward, you shouldn't need that same level of well, okay, you get what I'm saying. The free time should kind of evolve, right? So now my 6-year-old can be in the other room doing her thing for a reasonable short period of time. And I go, okay, yeah, she's fine in there. Years ago, I'd be like, where the hell's the kid? We got to see the kid. Look, the dog's kind of the same way. Okay, when we're starting training, we are on them, managing them a lot. But then as we go, we should give them more freedoms, more responsibilities. Hopefully that helps. Very difficult question, but thank you for asking. You're welcome. Just moved. 2-year-old dog plays tug well. Happy attitude in the new yard and park, but mopes around the house, sleeps a lot, isn't eating. Any mealtime routine suggestions? Oh my gosh. Was your dog depressed? Your dog's missing that old house. It seems like this is where not only your food drive, but just the dog's drive in general to kind of work for you. That's where this really comes into play. Let's use layman terms. If you see your dog kind of go, kind of flatten, air comes out of the tires, we need something that can override that. Maybe it's the dog's drive to play. Maybe it's their food drive to work for food for you. But I would make that house so exciting. Crate training's king. Look, he's going in the crate, period. Boom. In the crate, gone. When you come out of the crate, this is what we're doing. Do you know what chicken is, buddy? You about to find out. Sit, stay. No. Come get some. Yeah, good boy. Click. Yeah, good boy. Over here. Yeah, click. Good boy. Yeah. Spin. Oh, click. Yeah, that's a good boy. Those are the kind of sessions. With what your dog's showing you, don't let him just keep wandering around the house and getting depressed. Put him in his crate, and when he comes out into that house, he's going to be having good times. Here's what we're doing. Check this out, buddy. You need to almost overcompensate for what you're seeing. So you need to be active. You need to be exciting. Don't act like an obnoxious clown, but you're active and exciting. And you're going to have to do a lot of the work for the dog. You're going to have to bring the energy. That energy should be infectious. That dog should feed off your energy. But if you're like, hey, buddy, what's wrong with you today? Well, I'm depressed. You got to bring the energy. You got to bring the motivation. Food helps with that, but it's not the end all be all. Yeah, I mean, is it possible that over time, dogs put on a little weight and eat, and, you know, their food drive from a puppy has gone down a little bit? Sure. Little diet could never hurt a dog that isn't super food motivated. But just making those, when the dog eats, it's interactive, it's fun, it's coming from me. He can't wait to get out of that crate, come in the kitchen and do something. That's what I would do. Okay, looks like a reply from one of the previous answers. I'm not rewarding and letting it go too exciting before I ask for an out. Changing that up. Glad that helped. Okay. Decent, well-rounded male, 2 years old, formally trained. When tuned up in drive, his sits start drifting to downs in anticipation of a release. I got you. I've tried to reinforce. He can't talk today. Reinforce? All this will be edited out. You guys will never know that. I've tried to reinforce both sits and downs in completely different sessions, and it's solid. I can't seem to find a way around that high drive default to down when he's in work mode. A lot of ways we could take this question, but you're talking about a dog, just to sum up the question, high in drive, ready for the toy, sits, but does the flop to the down. This is the worst. Down is the worst position for a dog to go into like that because they have the most points of contact on the ground, AKA that's the easiest position for them to get stuck. You get what I'm saying. Stop rewarding your down, period. Stop rewarding your down, period. Not saying anything you've done up until this point has been wrong, but there's a glitch with the dog, so you need to change it. Do not reward a down. Down doesn't give him anything. I promise you this. He's 2 years old. If your dog actually has a down command, which I completely believe you that he does, he ain't never gonna forget that. He'll never forget how to lay down. If anything, you want him rusty on laying down. You shelf the down for a month, and when you decide to come back to it, the dog's kind of like, wait, what? That's actually where you want to be right now. Never reward a down, period. The stay is where you have problems, not the sit. It's the stay. So he doesn't get rewarded for down, whether it's in this session or that session or the other. Don't even use down. Sit, stay only. His life turns into sit, stay. Pretend downstays don't exist anymore. Dogs can't do them. You only have a sit. That's how you're going to work it. One reward technique that I didn't go over specifically in the YouTube video, but it's similar to the behind. Here's what you do. Sit, stay. Walk out 10 feet in front of the dog. Say yes and chuck the ball and hit him in the chest. Peg him in the chest. Yes, boom. And I say that because what you want is I'm the dog, sit, stay. I hear yes, boom, and then I get rewarded. If you say yes and throw it and your dog runs halfway to you and get it, you're way too slow. So you're nice and close. Yes, boom. Set it up again, sit, stay. Yeah, boom. set it up again, boom, 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 and so on. Your dog would be so easy to convince that when I'm sitting, this guy's about to peg me with the ball. And I love that, assuming the dog likes, I love that. Down's off of his mind. You're rewarding it a little bit differently. What do you do if the dog does plop into the down, Andy, when I'm working on this? Why are you so far away? Why is he off leash? Distance and off leash to a behavior that's already not good. We don't like that. This dude's on a 10-foot leash at all times. Sit. I walk out to the end of the leash. Bah. Walk out to the end of the leash. Bah. Walk out to the end of the leash. He starts dropping. Nope. If I'm holding the leash in my left hand and it's going directly to the dog's neck, I have a big straight line here and he's in a sit. He goes to drop down, I go, whoop, sit. Without having to run over to him. If he achieves the down from a sit and he's not supposed to, you failed as a trainer. I'd say the same thing to myself. If he goes, I go, oh my God, stupid Andy. He's in a sit. You're reading the dog. You're not too far away. Stevie Wonder could tell when the dog is about to lay down. It is not hard to see. You need to interrupt that process immediately. Not bang him, correct him. You need to sit. Interrupt that immediately. Because if you go sit and the dog's like, and you're like, shoot, now he's in a down. You're screwed. Start the whole thing over. Go get the dog, take the walk of shame, set the whole thing up again. I hope that helps. Couple more here, then we got to train. How would you teach her not to be so grabby with the treat? Rewards during the luring. 2-year-old. Oh yeah. Hey, trust me, I feel you on this one. This is what I call a banger. Anyone got a banger out there? A banger is a dog. When you're hand feeding them, they're just going to destroy that hand. I mean, sure. And it's not a puppy anymore, right? So that's where I'm headed. You got an adult dog that's just, oh my God, I feel your pain. I've had some bangers before. Are there things you could do to get them to take the treat nicer? Yes, and they might work. Okay? Sometimes a little, hey, easy, that's my hand. A little bop. I'm not saying, hey, hey, easy. Look, I'm not saying that can't work. There's people that do that and their dogs take it a little bit more nicely. So sometimes that can work. I definitely give them a little feedback and be like, hey, easy. Like, my dogs care about me and like what I say and how I say it. So if I'm feeding Fred, an older dog, and he bangs my hand and I go, hey, the hell, dude, easy. And I kind of shove it in his face. Hey, easy. That affects him a lot. Not everyone has that relationship with their dog, but if I go, oh, like my dog really is like, oh, shit, sorry, what is it? Some dogs may not care. You don't have that relationship with them. Here's the advice. Honestly, for now, I would just wear thick gloves. Seriously. A utility glove, a gardening glove. Those can present some challenges in and of themselves, but I've done this and it's worked perfectly. If I'm training a board and train and they're a little older and they're a stupid banger, guess what? I have no relationship with the dog. If I start getting on and be like, hey, don't do that, they don't know me from a hole in the wall. That could totally mess things up for me. Put on a thick utility glove and I work it out with them. And they can bang up a little bit and it doesn't hurt my hand. Not the ultimate solution, but it's just a way to just like, okay, he takes the treat terribly, gloves, that'll fix that for now. Let's just get to the training stuff here. You know, maybe transition to a toy after a month of food work. The glove definitely helps. One more thing on that. What was I going to say? Okay. It's harder when you're first starting because the dog's just following, doesn't have a lot of control. But as the sessions go on, I just get one small piece of food right in the palm of my hand, closed hand lure. So I deliver like this. He grabs one piece and then we're done. So definitely a lot harder if they're, but I kind of try to get to that point as soon as I can because then I can get away from the gloves a little bit. There's nothing wrong with, guys, in your dog's training foundation, if you take a month or 2, 3 to build that and they're a crazy banger, just throw on a glove for the training sessions. At the end of the 3 months, I have my dog to the point where he's not just relying on the lure and food all the time. So I can just deliver one piece nicely here, there, no gloves. That's how I would do it. But that's not, one more thing. I'm not just saying throw a glove on and let her be a huge a-hole then. It won't hurt you. The way you deliver the reward, how much reward they get, how they get it matters. Because the glove is a means to an end. I want the dog to be good at taking food out of my hand, period. The glove's like a way to get there. But if they're just crazy about that treat, you got to calm the dog down a little bit. You got to go, hey, chill. No, this is too much. Chill. One piece, good. There. One piece, good. There. Usually when dogs are banging us up in the hands, it's because we're trying to do a bunch of stuff with them. Just take it. There. Hey. Chill, dude. Boom. Right there. Here's the reward hand. Here's doggy's mouth. If I tell him, yeah, if they're coming towards me and eating, they're banging. We don't want this. When I deliver that food, I shove it into the dog. Yes. So they almost have to go back a little bit, and I'm pushing it into them. Because food coming away from the dog, get that snappy, boom, boom, one piece done. Good. Gank, boom, done. Hope that helps. What's your favorite chew toys and chew foods for a 9-week-old Belgian? The bully stick's going to be your best friend. That's the go-to. Oh, for puppies, they're amazing. It takes them months to go through one. Get that bully stick. Your dog's going to be gnawing on that thing, biting it, peeling it. It's going to keep them busy. It's going to satisfy all their need to, technical term. And it's just like, for a 9-week-old puppy, it's indestructible. They'll just be gnawing on that thing. That's what I like. You're welcome. Okay. Hey, Andy, how do you know when to fade out the feet placement when training the front lock position? Every time I think he's ready to leave the visual cues behind, he starts to step in positions. I don't know if I understand that question. Can I ask something? Maybe. If it's dog related. How do you know when to fade out the feet placement when training the front lock? Okay, here's the question. Ashley's asking about change of positions. For those who don't know, real quick, in the dog sport I compete in, French ring, There's an obedience exercise called the change of positions. This is 6 position changes between sit down and stand. You place the dog in a box that's spray painted on the field. The box is 3 meters long by 2 meters wide. It's a box big enough for you and the dog to step into. And you're going to put the dog in a position depending on the trial, sit down or stand. So you put the dog in a sit. You're going to walk almost 20 meters away from the dog. There's almost 3.5 feet in a meter, so do the math. 20 meters away. Then what you do, here's the dog. Here's the box. Down. Stand. Sit. Stand. Down. Sit. Recall, exercise complete. The dog needs to change all those positions without coming forward. So when she says the foot lock position, she means I want my dog's 2 front feet planted at all times, and they down, and they sit, and they stand, and they down, and they sit, and they stand, and they can do every position, but because their front feet have been trained to not walk forward, the dog never creeps forward in those change of positions. That was long-winded. Ashley's saying, I train it, I train it, I train it. I have a target, I have a box, I have a pad. As soon as I take that away, the dog starts creeping. How do I know when I'm ready to leave the visual cues behind? Okay. Hopefully a short answer. Here's your change of positions. Once your dog can change positions, food, target, whatever, sit down, stand, great mechanics. Okay, I have my little place board here. Feet stay on it. Great mechanics. Great. Let's move on. Okay. You have to go to the position box. If you're trying to train the dog's front feet to stay here, I'm not a fan of having it on an actual target. In the early stages of teaching, that can be fine, but I need to get the dog's feet just on the natural ground ASAP. The position box will be super key for you. The distance in the positions is often overlooked. The farther you get away from your dog, the harder it is for them not to come to you. You are changing the whole picture to the dog. We don't think we are. We go, no, I just took 2 steps back. It's the same thing. The dog goes, this is a completely different picture. So how you move back and what you reward, that's crucial. So I get a box, no bottom to it, just, basically 2x4 little box. I get great positions with me directly in front of the dog. That's what you need to get. In the box, dog doesn't touch the box, dog doesn't come forward, we can stand here. Don't worry so much about the front feet literally never moving. That's probably not that possible. I mean, there might be a little here and there. Stay in the box until you can walk the 20 meters, change 6 positions perfectly in the box. If the dog can't do it great in that box, we don't take that box away. One step further, okay, Andy, I did all that. If I have the position box, change of positions are great. Okay. We want to eliminate the position box. If we simply eliminate the training box and then run through it again, we've completely changed the picture on the dog. Again, to the human, we go, it's the same thing, dude. The dog goes, what the hell is this? My Malinois especially. If If you change one thing in the picture, he's like, what? Annoying. There's a way to then fade that box out. Okay. Box becomes a touch smaller. I want to work until I can just put a pole on the ground in front of the dog. I'm going to spray paint the pole because in trial, the box will be freshly spray painted. Depends on the dog. We won't get into the weeds anymore. There's ways to very slowly and incrementally dissolve that position box to where the dog does it trial picture. In order to cross that bridge, they need to be picture perfect, fantastic at full distance with a box. No bottom. One more thing on that, because I love the change of position. It's a lot harder than people think. Having a legit change of positions is a very difficult exercise. My dog's 5. My dog's been through ring 1, ring 2. We're going into ring 3. There's positions in all of them. He's always done phenomenal with his positions. I am, okay, barely doing positions outside of the box. Or outside, what the hell was that? Outside of some kind of barrier. That happens on trial day. I can check on it every now and again, but once I've faded that box and I just put down a little pipe, little PVC pipe in front of the dog, it's white, I spray paint it, it is so rare that I will do a trial style change of positions with my dog, even though he knows it and does it. Because the more reps you do in the box, the more reps you get not creeping forward. And then on trial day, he's had 100 reps not creeping forward. That's when I use it. And then training, we go back to the box. So while you want your dog to be able to achieve it with nothing, once they ultimately do, it's super important to go right back to that box. Because you keep doing it naked, the best dogs in the world, they're going to get sloppy. I hope that helps. I bought a train protection dog from PDW. She's trained on an e-collar, but in Austria, e-collars are not allowed. I feel like every time like a criminal. How do I start correcting and training without it? Leash and collar? Use a leash? Look, e-collars, assuming everything's right, they give your dog a lot more freedom. They give you a lot more control. They make everything better. If you can't use it, but you have a dog that was trained on it, you're handicapped a little now. You have a handicap. You can't use the e-collar. So that sucks. But a leash and collar is the only way to do it. Not even a prong, just a leash and collar. Back to what I said in the beginning of the video, if you're rewarding this dog like a pro, you're not going to need as many corrections as you think. But that's the simple answer. What's up, first timer? Or would you just use it? I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble. Put a big bandana or like a big dog scarf around the dog. Cover it up. Yeah, absolutely. Look, absolutely I'd use it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd use it. Oh my God. Are the e-collar police gonna come and arrest me? Yeah, don't be a flamboyant you-know-what out there. You're very, very discreet. It's in your pocket. There's nothing. Everything's covered up. When I do use it, it doesn't look like I used it. Hell yeah, I'd use that thing. Are you kidding me? You're not going to use that tool because it's very bad for the dogs. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you have my dog's safety in mind when you're ripping away my freedoms. Thank you so much for that. But it's my dog. I'll take it from here. Thank you. You should always follow the laws, though. We're live. Follow the laws. That was all a joke. Hello, sir. Why does my puppy chew on my hand? How can I stop it? Well, puppies like to chew. And you know what? My new puppy, who I hope you've been watching the videos, they're new. If I brought my puppy out and just sat there, oh yeah, he'd love to chew all over my hands. Puppy. That's puppy 101, baby. Watch the hands. Yeah, look, when the puppy's out, there's something interactive happening. It's with a toy, it's with food, something going on. You know, puppies aren't very well equipped to hang out. Some breeds better than others, but they're full of piss and vinegar and they want to get rowdy. You should go in my living room. When my puppy's out, we got all kinds of toys for that little psycho out there. You know, we got bones, we got tugs, we got toys, we got a whole bunch of stuff for him. So if he comes up to one of us and starts laying into us, we go, hey, boom, boom, do this instead. And we give him a little toy there. But don't just be trying to hang out with your puppy for hours at a time, because all that stuff's going to come right out. You know, manage their time out of the crate. They're out of the crate. We got this area boxed off. We got some toys. We got some food. Here's what we're doing, puppy. Look alive. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You're welcome. I hope that helps. I really hope that helps. Guys, the e-collar thing, one last thing on this, because e-collars are illegal in a lot of countries. Here's the e-collar thing. Let's look at this like rational adults, okay? Because we all are. This is a kid's show. There's tons of kids watching. Just kidding. We're all rational adults here, right? I hope that most of us know right from wrong. I hope most of us know abusive behavior versus non-abusive behavior. I think we're all capable humans here. Here's the thing with the e-collar being illegal. There are groups of people with influence that determine, hey, this collar can do really bad stuff to your dog. And we don't want people out there doing really bad stuff to their dog. So you can't use this thing that can do bad stuff to the dog. Whether you agree with it or not, I'm on the same page with them in that I don't want people to abuse their dogs. I don't want people to hurt their dogs. I don't want people to, etc. with the dogs. Great, we're on the same page. I agree with you. And you know what? Maybe you should need to pass some sort of a test in order to get clearance to use an e-collar. I think you should have the right just to get one whether you do that or not. But let's just say that. Let's say you treat it like a car. It's like, well, no, to be able to legally have and drive a car, you have to go through this, man. You can't just be getting out. Okay, let's say the same with an e-collar. Look, we all agree this tool can be catastrophically damaging to a dog. Absolutely. I agree with that. So could this. So could this. You know what I mean? But okay, we're all responsible adults here. The reason behind the ban is that they, and let's just pretend this, it's probably not the reason, but let's live in fantasy world. The intention is just to help dogs and protect them. Okay, great. I'm a responsible adult. I understand this tool. I understand exactly how it could screw dogs up. I understand exactly how it could do the opposite. So it is going to be my choice whether or not I use it, but I appreciate that if it is the case, there's people out there looking out for the well-being of dogs. We're all on the same page there. That's a little bit of my view on it, right? But hey, just to play devil's advocate a little bit, I agree that probably a majority, at least half, of e-collar users, it shouldn't be, you shouldn't do that, right? But we're all adults. Andy, going off the change of position box, when do you go to reward, especially the stand? How do you reward the dog? Oh, okay, wait. Change of positions. When you go to reward the dog, how do you reward the dog? You know what, Michael? I'll reference the most recent video I posted here to YouTube. There'd be 3 ways you want to reward that change of position, specifically the stand. Stand, option number 1, there's either already a toy behind your dog, or you chuck a toy behind the dog, tell them yes, they change the position, then they go back. That's your first option. Second option would be releasing the dog straight towards you for the ball. I wouldn't recommend that for obvious reasons for the change of positions, but it is an option there where some dogs it would help. But then room service is how I personally like to reward my stand with my dog. Down, sit, stand, and I start walking back to my dog. And I walk all the way back, give him room service, and I keep him backing up. Yes. So when he stands, he knows, okay, I stand here and I wait, and I'm nice and calm. With my dog, I found that the chucking of the toy, it makes his positions, it puts too much drive in his positions, which makes him snap into them quicker, which changes his foot position too much. So he changes, I calmly walk in and I room service him. That's how I like to do it. Okay, we're getting lost here. Hope that helps. Couple more. Hello, sir. I adopted a super chill Shepherd Collie mix, but seems like he's been abused. Trying to train obedience, he will just stop moving if I try to use any prong collar pressure to correct behavior. I hear ya. Look, here's the thing. Get rid of that prong ASAP. No corrections right now. We ain't ready for corrections. The reason I know that is because the dog just told me. You said, and yeah, probably a terrible past. Trying to train obedience, he'll stop moving. If I try to use any prong collar pressure to correct behavior, he just, oh. Your dog is telling you right now, I ain't ready for all that. So you got to listen to the dog and you got to go, okay. Training a dog does not require prong collars. Training a dog does not require corrections. Proofing your training in any environment with any distraction, so they always do it first time, every time, no matter what, that's where we get in to the other quadrants of operant conditioning, AKA corrections. Ditch that. You and this dog need to spend 2 to 3 months. I know you're going to kill me. Okay, 1 month, something. You're going to spend that time positive reinforcement only. You would actually be really surprised. If you have the right environment and your training sessions are right, the amount you can build with positive reinforcement only is pretty massive. No, that all isn't going to be good enough to cover everything we ever need from the dog, but you're going to the collar, to pressure, and to corrections way too fast. Doesn't matter if you've been training the dog for a week or a year. Irrelevant. You're going to it too fast. The dog's telling you. And I'm guessing you don't have a colossal mountain of beautiful behaviors you've done with positive only. That's where I would start, honestly. Look, we all look at that end goal. Okay, I want a dog to be able to do this and this away. But we're like a couple miles away from that right now. We got to focus on what the next 500 feet look like, not the destination. I hope that helps. People who criticize e-collars are often the same ones struggling with dogs that lack clear boundaries and reliable training. When used properly, high-quality e-collar can be an excellent tool. I agree. I mean, doesn't it just seem a little insane we have to explain this? I mean, this is marketing. This is propaganda 101. We're talking about dog training. This is 101 right here. We actually have to explain this. The e-collar is no different than your hand, meaning if I sat you down and explained, hey, so you know your hand here? If you beat the crap out of your dog with it, it's going to be really, really bad for your dog. Do I really need to tell somebody that? On the other end, hey, you see your hand here? This is what's used to pet your dog and to feed them. Your hand could be like the dog's favorite thing in the world. Okay. Do we really need to? Same thing with an e-collar. You know, e-collars can be really, really bad if you're just stupid and abusive. Oh, they can? I didn't know. But then also, you know, if you're not stupid and abusive, they could be pretty good. Oh, it's like we really need to talk about this. Aren't we past this? Hey, I went to Home Depot and bought a hammer and whacked one of the clerks in the head with it. They shouldn't sell hammers anymore. Okay, we're done. Let's see what we got here. A couple more. What's the best way to build muzzle engagement? My female doesn't avoid it, but doesn't like it. Simple fix there. Step one, get a muzzle, put a piece of food in it. Dog sticks their head in, eats the food. Good. Reload it. Reload it. Reload it. Reload it. Ding. Couple sessions later, muzzle. Drink. Where's the food? Ding. You need that first. You need, that's my food bowl. When you pull out the muzzle, there's a little treat in it. You pull out the muzzle, it's the same as pulling out the dog's food bowl. They go, oh, I eat out of there. So that's the first step. They make muzzles with a nice little hole in the front for training purposes. That's where you deliver your treat. So your next step is going to be to hold that muzzle. Dog's head goes in, and now I feed them the treat through there. Right? Head goes in, good. They take it out. Head goes in, good. Take it out. Take it out. We build from there. We could keep going, but you need to get there first. Muzzle comes out, dog shoving their head in it. Super easy. A lot of the e-collars are from 0 to 100, so starting at the lowest until you reach the reaction level is basically like tapping the dog on the shoulder, and it usually happens at a very low level. No, 100%. 100%. And I love the e-collar 0 to 100 because I have so much to play with. I mean, any dog on the planet, you're going to fall somewhere in between there. My Belgian Malinois Freddy, he's 5 years old, he's in his prime, he's gigantic, and he has all the drive a Malinois could ever have. And by the way, he's trained to F decoys up on the field all day long. He works on a 15. He works on a 15 out of 100. Ask me the last time I've had to go up from that on him? I could not tell you. It was a while ago. I couldn't tell you. He works on a frickin' 15. I put a 15 on my hand. I go, oh yeah, there's the e-collar there. Yeah. Again, insane we have to say this. E-collar doesn't equal pain. E-collar doesn't equal abuse. Hammers don't equal pain and abuse. But a lunatic with one could. (10-4), what I'm trying to get a reliable recall, he'll chase, smell, and run from any attempt to recall him if he's off leash. With a leash, he acts chill and stays close. Well, that's when the magic of the e-collar comes in, but look. He'll chase, smells, and run from any attempt to recall if he's off leash. Look, that's your problem there. And you say, oh, on leash, he's perfect. Something's amiss with that recall. If he's on leash, come, boom, boom, boom. And then he's off leash and it's just like later, something's missing. Something's missing. And here's what it is. Hypothetically speaking, you went from step 1 to step 5. That's what I'm thinking. I think you went from step 1 to step 5. You went from step 3 to step 7, however you want to put it. If it's true that the dog actually has a good recall while on leash, that's perfect. But now the next step isn't to go off leash. Here's why. Anywhere from a 6 to a 25-foot leash, you say. Okay, let's take the high end, just to help the case. Let's say at 25 feet away, on leash, your dog's money. You take the leash off, you've changed the picture big time, even though you don't think you have. Now there's no leash, that's big. Now the dog's further away from you than they've ever been. Massive change in picture. Even bigger change in picture since you mentioned the 6-foot leash. If a dog is 10 feet away from you while you're doing recalls a bunch and then when they're 50 feet away, it's a different command. It's a whole different picture to the dog. You skipped the steps. This is where I love the retractable leash. I love the retractable leash. The longest one you can possibly get. I think mine's about 30 feet. You probably don't need me to explain all the benefits of the retractable leash, but I'll tell you what, your dog, the recall that your dog is showing you, there's several more steps before you get to that off leash. What are those steps exactly? Well, if you sent me a bunch of videos of the dog and we had a conversation for a half hour on the phone, I'd probably be able to tell you exactly what those steps are. It is dog to dog, but the hard transition between the on-leash stuff to the off-leash is what's creating that. I don't know if that helps at all. Might be a stupid question, but I do KMPV, and the young Malinois I have is currently not going to make it, but even thinking about rehoming him breaks my heart. How would you deal with this? From All Right Buddy. All right, buddy. Here's the harsh reality. If I get a dog to do sport with, and I see early on that dog can't do sport, you're gone. Bye. See you later. Check, please. Bye. You have a beautiful new home to go to. They're going to love you. Bye. When I get a sport prospect, I don't attach myself to that emotionally at all because I have a trial period. I'm not going to know. I'm not going to know. There's going to be great signs. I could feel good. I'm not going to know that this is my dog forever for months after owning him. Now, again, you go, well, I knew from day one that was the one. Okay, you know what I'm saying. When I get a puppy, I go, okay, I got my new puppy. I'm really excited. Everything on paper looks good. We're going to go through our first month. We're going to go through our second month. We're going to go through our third month. We're going to go through teething. I'm going to potty train him. I'm going to know for a fact then if this is the dog. Every puppy could be great, but right a couple months, I'm going to know. And when I know, I go, okay, time to start this bond, time to start this. Dog trainer rule number 77, never get attached to the puppy. On the other end, you're just buying a pet dog. I just bought a pet dog. Clark, watch the videos. Day one, I'm like, this is my dog. There's no trial period. I'm not doing sport with it. I got him to just enjoy and hang out around the house. I knew right away it'd be great for that. But even then, I encourage some of my clients, I say, hey, when you get a new puppy, give it a couple months, man. Don't let the kids be, oh, no, it's going to destroy all of our hearts to get rid of him. He's aggressive. Don't get attached right away. Then your puppy won't get attached right away. You won't have separation anxiety. Never get attached right away. Because the purpose of the dog is to do that with. And if they can't do it, why do you have it? Oh, it's just, if you want to keep it as a pet dog, that's fine. But I learned a long time ago, I don't want to be a dog collector. I want to get my dog and have it do what it's supposed to do. And I've turned over a lot of puppies. I've washed a whole bunch of puppies. I probably kept not as many, but I've kept a lot. But I've washed. I go, absolutely not. That's not the dog. No way. Not a chance. Nope. Sorry. Bye-bye. Look, don't be that sad. You're not sending the dog to euthanasia. It's just going to have a different family, and a few months go by, a puppy will just forget about forget about you in the first place. Andy, do you still believe in forgetting off leash? Yes. So what he's referring to here is, or her, him, her. I always had this saying where I go, forget off leash. I go, don't even say off leash around me. No one's allowed to even say off leash. And it's kind of this thing that I went on because all I see is people not mastering the leash and then going to off leash. So they say, hey, Andy, off leash, off leash. I go, don't even say off leash to me. We have months worth of work to do on the leash. Off leash doesn't exist right now. Don't even say it. So yeah, the leash is your friend. I'm a huge proponent of the leash, always using the leash. But look, in reality, who wouldn't want their dog to be off leash trained? Who wouldn't want their dog to be good off leash? But I go on such a tear with that leash because, in my opinion, what actually leads to beautiful off leash training and freedom is beautiful work with the leash. People act like it's this thing they got to get rid of, or they think they're like really proud to be like, I don't need a leash. I do. You must be different because I definitely need leashes to train. But I love the leash. Like off leash too, but I like to promote the leash. Most people don't use it enough. Hey, Andy, I'm watching you from Poland. Have two male sisters and a Jack Russell Terrier. Sounds similar? Hey, I feel your pain, man. Not really with the litter mates, but with the Jack Russell. Those will test your patience. Thanks for watching, though. Glad you're here. You're welcome. I live by that with a Cane Corso when it's helped. Awesome. Sweet. All right, y'all. We got it done. Q&A live. You guys brought the heat. I like the questions. keep an eye out on my YouTube page because I don't know why I keep doing that. Active on there again. Not only am I going to have all my little puppy videos on there, we're going to be bringing some Freddy Magic back to YouTube as well. So I think you guys will enjoy that. And of course, my Patreon, patreon.com/Andy Kruger. That's where all the fun really happens. Thanks for being here, y'all. Now go train your dog. Enough watching this. I got to train Fred and Clark. See you guys later.